Okay, hello everyone. So, in today's episode of Learn in 1 Hour series, we will be looking at VStitcher by Browzwear. And this is a 3D tool. It can be familiar if you have ever used Cloud 3D before or Marvelous Designer. So this is a pretty similar software, I might say. And in today's episode, we will be taking a first look at the software. And don't get me wrong by the headline. Of course, nobody can learn a software in an hour, but this is to take a look at it and have an overall opinion, see the interface, see how it's working, see what is kind of possible. And I will make another video on why 3D fashion exists and what is possible with it, what are the limits, is it true to real life. But this is specifically for VStitcher. So we have a top menu over here. We have two side panels. One is on the left, one is on the right, which looks empty right now because I don't have an active file. So I have to create a new project to be able to click any of these or see something on these panels. But the only thing that we can see is this lady over here who is Olivia, which is the default mannequin or avatar as we call them in 3D. And you will see we will be able to change it, but this is our good old friend Olivia. Get familiar with it, you will be seeing her a lot. So first, let's start with creating a new file. For this, there are a couple of ways. You can either go to your top-down menu, file, and say new garment. Or as you can see from this shortcut over here, you can click on Command and N from your keyboard. Or if you're using a Windows, you can click Control and N. And as you can see, everything is active right now. The colors are back and we can click on them. So let's take a look at the interface as the first thing. So the most important parts that we will be using constantly are this top menus over here. And this is our kind of like toolbox, you can think. We have the select tool, which is basically our hand. You can always think it like this. If we want to pick something, if we want to drag something, if we want to move things, we always go back to select tool, or from our keyboard we can also click on V. Texture is for seeing the details of any kind of texture. Let's create something as an example so you know what I'm talking about. So with select tool, I can move things around, and by all means I can move things around, including the points, edges, the garment piece itself, the pattern piece. With texture tool, however, also realize when I click on this with select tool, my right panel shows a lot of properties, because this right panel is specifically dedicated for showing the properties of either the selected piece or line or the point. And if we select it with select tool, it gives me different properties. However, if I click on it with, for example, texture tool, it will give me the properties of the texture of the selected piece, like the color of the face and the back, transparency of the fabric, the color blending, etc., etc. And Let's go back to select tool. We have stitch tool, which is pretty self-explanatory. When we stitch something, or if we want to adjust the stitch, get rid of it, see the details of the stitch, we will always go back to this. Assign is for assigning everything that is under 3D section, and the materials section. And in here we have fabrics, seams, artworks, trims, colors, and we don't see a lot of things. I will explain why. And insert is inserting things like rectangles, which is what we did with this one. So if you wanna I always say, explain it like this: a rectangle is a fabric piece you can think in real life. And just think about it. If you really think about it, I always give similar examples. 3D fashion is so similar to real life physical fashion, because in real life we also need a fabric piece, and it is usually in a rectangle. So we start drawing the pattern on it, then we cut it out, then we carve it, then when we feel finished, we stitch it. The process is pretty much the same in here. So first we need a fabric. For this, I can either create a rectangle or an ellipse like this, or I can take my pen tool and just draw something that I want and create a pattern and half pattern, like whatever I want to create. And we have a range which we will come to. I think we should just start creating something so we can see everything in action. It is always more useful like this. Another thing that I want to mention is we have two screens over here. This is the 2D screen where we have the 2D patterns, and this is the 3D screen where we have the 3D patterns and the avatar. And this is where the simulation is going to happen. So everything you see over here, the prepare, dress, finish, undress, styling, all of these tools belong to 3D. And also we have the menus of these screens. This menu belongs to 2D screen, and this menu over here belongs to the 3D screen. And I will show you what they do when we have something going on. So for this, let's imagine I want to start with a tank top, for example. Just like make these a little smaller, and you can even close this if you're not using it currently. With these little arrows, you can make them smaller or bigger. Move this, and I take my insert, select rectangle, and I just imagine I don't know how to take a measurement, or I don't know the measurement of the avatar. So I will just create a rectangle like this. This is gonna be a half front pattern. You will see what I mean in a minute. And when I create this, to make sure that is a correct measurement, I can either go to arrange. In arrange mode, you can see my avatars 2D version. Like this is my right side, front, left, and back. And when I grab my piece that I just created and hover on these sections, as you can see, it's giving me different guidelines like head, shoulders, left arm, torso. These are my clusters. This is the 2D version of the clusters. We also have these in 3D. If I click here, you will see this is undefined pieces, which basically brings all of your pattern pieces that you haven't placed on the avatar yet. And you can see it here, and when you grab it, you will see these different clusters that we have just seen on 3D screen. And why do we have these clusters is in 3D and even in 2D, but especially in 3D, especially animation, and these work fields, you have to always imagine you are speaking to the computer and you are creating an algorithm for it in order to make it do something. And you need to be very, very specific so it understands the assignment really clearly and simulates everything properly. So every time you are trying to do something, or if something goes wrong, always imagine what is the, like, what information is either wrong or missing, so the computer is not simulating it properly. It can always be a glitch or an error or something like this, but this is a good kind of thinking when you are working with 3D. So when I grab this is my piece, right? I'm gonna place it on the avatar, but when I have these clusters, I am basically telling VStitcher, okay, so this is either a skirt, or it is gonna be a top, or it's gonna be a hat piece. Because of these different clusters, VStitcher knows, like if it's on a torso, this must be a top. If it's on the arm, this must be a sleeve. If it's a skirt, it's a skirt. If it's on the left leg, this is probably something like either pants or leggings. So depending on what this piece is going to become, I have to place it on the correct cluster, and so the simulation runs correctly. Since this is gonna be a top, I place it on the torso, and you will see these two arrows. This is for moving it. Also, if you click once on it, you will see the full gizmo tool. Gizmo tool is a tool, a 3D tool for navigation, and it is universal. You will see it in other 3D softwares as well. The arrows we see are for moving it. So this is for the X axis, this is for the Y, and this is for the Z axis, meaning this moves it up and down, this moves it from side to side, and the blue one moves it further away or closer to the avatar. Always be careful. It shouldn't be too close to the avatar that we see the skin, but also it shouldn't be too far away. So it is always useful to go to a side view if you want to see it more clearly. To change the view, you can either rotate it from here, or we also have some preset perspectives in here. This is the front, left side, back, and right side. I usually prefer this one, and with this, when I bring it closer, as we discussed, it shouldn't be too close like this, it shouldn't be too far away. So something like this is gonna do. So I go back to my front view, bring it down, and since this is gonna be a half pattern, it needs to be starting from the middle of my chest and go all the way up to like around here. So it's a bit smaller than I expect, and I go back to select, then click on my pattern piece. So I need to make this bigger, and there are a couple of ways how you can make this bigger. One way is with the gizmo tool. When you enable it, you will see this little tool is the gizmo tool. Also be careful, every time I hover my mouse and move it onto the screen, you will also see a little circle moving on the right side 3D view. And at this likewise, on the 3D screen, if I move and hover on a pattern piece, you will also see where my mouse is landing on the 2D screen as well, which comes in really handy, especially for placing separate points, like, oh, so this is the top edge and it's fitting around the neck, so I need to make this area like wider, etc. It can be really helpful. With Gizmo tool, we have this center, and this center is for this rotation. We will come to that. If you want to rotate something, you can rotate it from either here or here. And these 4 arrows that looks at different directions are for rescaling it. And for rescaling, if I drag this one, it will rescale and get bigger or smaller following the direction of this arrow. If I rescale it from here, also. And also the same thing with this one and with this one. And if I want to rotate this, I can either rotate the angle, which is at 90 degrees right now, from here, or I can also rotate it by dragging this little black circle. But if you want to rotate this in a certain degree, so it doesn't just like look weird or rotate in a random degree, hold shift and start rotating. You will see it will only rotate at specific degrees, like 45, 0, 90, 270, 180. So take it back. Also for rotation, we have an anchor point in here which shows us the center of my movement, meaning if I move this anchor point to the corner, when I rotate it, it will rotate from that new center. But if I click to somewhere empty and go back and click on it, you will see Gizmo will be placed on the center of the whole piece again, so it will come back. So this is one way how to change the size. Another way is, first you need to make sure the edit points is enabled. When it's enabled, you can click on an edge and drag it to make it bigger or smaller, but it's moving like this. To get rid of this movement, click on it, hold shift and drag it, so it will move evenly like this and will not create any kind of perspective. This is another way, and you can also do it to this edge. You can change one specific corner. Another way is if I click on it with select tool, we have scale over here. And right now, every time I make it smaller or bigger, they will work together because the aspect ratio is enabled from here. If you say, for example, let's place this, and always remember, if I click on one of my pieces on 3D menu, it will automatically go back to arrange mode. So just move this and take select tool, click on it again. If let's say you want to make it wider, but you don't want to change the height, or if like you want to change them both, but you don't want to change them evenly, you need to disable that aspect ratio. So now you can change them separately like this. And I feel happy and I believe this is gonna be fine. The measurements look okay to me. Always remember, we can always change and customize the size. So no worries, do not try to make it perfect. Just do it. If it's looking fine, just keep going and keep trying. Another thing that I want to do is I will create a symmetry. And why I created a half pattern and I will apply a symmetry instead of making a full front is every time, like let's imagine I take this and create a full front, let's say. Every time I try to change something on one side, I always have to go back to the other side and change this accordingly as well, which is gonna be doubling my workload for no reason at all. So especially in the beginning, symmetrical patterns are super useful. For this, again, always remember you are talking to the computer. And for this one, I want you to imagine you will be creating a symmetry, and the symmetry needs to be from here, the center. But you need to tell this to the computer, because the computer is going to be like, okay, you want to create a symmetry, but like, do you want to create it from here or here or here? Like, where do you want to create it? Which is a super valid question. So you need to select this edge for reference, then go to the side menu or side panel and find edge symmetry and click on create. And we have a symmetrical piece now. So every time I make any kind of changes on one side, it will apply to the other side as well. And also the dashed line you see in the middle, this always represents symmetry. So if you see anything that has a dashed line like this, always remember it is a symmetrical piece, which you can bring back to the original state. If I click on it, again on the right panel, we have that inner symmetry. And if I click on keep half, it will go back to the original state. But if I select it and I click on keep both, now it will turn it into a full front and we'll get rid of the symmetry. But we don't want that, so we just keep it like this for now. Also from here you can centralize it. What I need to do is carve the armhole and the neck area, so we prepare it for stitching. For this, I will go to my insert, click on rectangle and find point. And when I find point, what I want to do is I want to add 1 point over here, 1 point over here, because this area will be carved. So I am basically marking it. You can leave it, you can think it like leaving a mark on an actual fabric piece. And for this, you can also enable the snap to edge from here. So normally it looks like this, but if I enable this, it will snap every time I come close to an edge, and it will also give me that little cross-looking guideline, which is basically telling me that you are on an edge right now. So I create 1 point here and take the point again, control from the 3D view where you're at, click on it, and this is gonna be my shoulder, this is gonna be my armhole. So I want to separate this area, but this is still a full edge. This is not separated, even though I added a point. To separate an edge into how many pieces you want is when you create a point, click on it, From the right panel, turn it into a corner point. So right now you can see these are two separate edges. Apply it to this one as well. And now these edges are also separate. So now what you need to do is to click on this corner point, drag it. This is gonna be my armhole. This is way too sharp to be an armhole, but I will fix it from curve type under point properties. This is set to sharp. I can make it curved or smooth. The difference is with smooth, you can see both of the handles. This is what we call them, these little lines are called handles, and if I drag one handle and move it, the other side will also get affected with smooth. If I make it curved, as you can see, one handle is red now. Remember, with smooth, both of them are the same ice blue color. With curved, they have different colors. The meaning of this is, since these are different colors, this basically represents that they are not working together. So if I drag this, only this side will be affected. Likewise, if I drag the ice blue handle, only this side will get affected. For a place like this, for an armhole, smooth is the most useful one. So set it to smooth and leave it like this. And we also need to carve the neck area and separate the shoulder straps. So go to insert, take point, snap to edge is enabled again. From here, let's decide where the neck is beginning, where it's ending, how wide do you want to be the neck area, and then place it, corner point, take the select tool and control. So these are my shoulders and this is the neck area. So I will click the middle one, middle point, drag it, and from here I need to make it curved. I can't make it smooth, it doesn't work because I have a symmetry here. Drag it, so we carve the curve as well. You can move this point or any of these points all you want. I will keep it more brief today since this is a brief tutorial. And next thing, I want to do a back. So for this one, also this is a bit short, so I will extend this. Click on the edge, hold shift, drag it to make it longer. Also I will replace it like this. Everything looks okay. Go back to select. There are a couple of ways how you can copy and paste something. One way is to right click, clone, and shape only, which will create a copy of your garment. Another way is to click on this, hold Option or Alt from your keyboard. You will see this double cursor. Then drag it, so you will create a copy of it. Another way is to copy and paste it with Control or Command C and Control and Command V, how you copy and paste everything from your keyboard. So when you create this, if you go to Arrange, you won't see anything, or you won't see any undefined pieces. The reason is, since this piece was already dressed on the avatar, when I copy it, it will come and place itself to the exact same place, which is here. So drag it, place it to the back torso, and you will see it here. And place it until it looks correct. It shouldn't be too low, it shouldn't be too high. Somewhere over here, a little bit above the shoulders will do. And now I need to stitch this. Take your stitch tool. I usually stitch on the 3D, but you can also stitch things on 2D as well. Whichever feels more comfortable, go for it. But I find it more comfortable doing it on 3D screen. So first I stitch the sides, then I stitch my shoulders. Always remember, since these pieces are symmetrical, once you stitch one side, the other side will be automatically stitched. So in here, another reminder, always try to make things easier for you. Do not make them harder. And another thing that I want to show is the material library. And materials are normally under material sections, and here you can see it with the fabrics. But in here we have only the default fabric. The reason for this is if we have all of the different fabrics already imported and included inside the software would just get so heavy. So instead we have them under libraries, and we can download the ones that we want to use. So the first one you will see is gonna be the knits, and we have different categories like knit jersey, knit stretch jersey, knit rib, knit mesh, French terry, fleece, and we have seams and trims. We have some special materials like aluminium, gold, satin, and PVC, brushed metal, brown leather, and mood. This is a beautiful fabric, but I don't know why it's named like this. Displacement mesh, I believe, pink glitter, gold. Like, we can try some of these like really interesting fabrics, black leather, aluminium, velvet, and like also let's download this. Every time you click on something, you download it and it will show up in your fabrics now. And always remember, everything under materials, we assign it with the assign tool over here. So take your assign tool and take PVC, for example, and assign it on the pattern piece that you want to assign it. In here, it also gives you an option to replace all default fabric applied pieces with the new fabric. You can either click replace all and everything will be replaced with the new fabric, or you can also do it by hand. You can also do it on 3D screen as well. And from the top, if I click on update 3D, it will run the simulation again, but with the new fabric. And always remember, if your computer is like low on storage or is a bit older, or if there's any problem or mismatching with your graphics card, it can be anything. Sometimes simulations take too long. You can always finish it earlier if you click on finish. So this is probably what my look is gonna be when I would wait for it to finish. Also, another fabric that we can try is this satin, which looks like this. This is a really fun fabric, and velvet and like gold, like this. And again, if I want to change and customize anything regarding the fabric or the texture, I have to click on it with the texture tool. Take the texture tool, click on it. In here, you can adjust the transparency of the fabric. You can also change the color from here to literally anything. And we have that diffuse image, which is giving that gold looking texture. And right now, these two are blended with recolor. If I make it multiply or overlay, the look will totally change. So if you change the color of a fabric from either here, or you can also change it from here, but the color you see on screen is not matching with the color you see in here or in here, it is probably the color blending. From here you can change the setting to overlay, to multiply, to recolor, and whichever is giving you the closest result, you can move forward with this. And we also have seams, we have artworks, and trims. For trims, we have zippers and buttons and more things. For artworks, if you have any kind of picture, you can import it over here. You can also import 3D objects inside VStitcher to assign them on pieces or on edges. And we also have seams like needles or actual seams under libraries that we can find and import. Here we have many different shapes and seams with different thicknesses, with different usages. And from here, we have seen select tool, texture, stitch, assign, insert. We didn't see pen tool, I can briefly explain it. Also, if you want to enable or like adjust your stitches, you can either go to stitch tool, so you will see and you will be able to adjust or remove your stitches. Or even with select tool, if this little stitch icon is enabled, you will also be able to see your stitches on 2D screen. We don't usually leave it open because it can look too crowded, but just in case, you know. Another thing, two things on the top of the 2D screen, sorry, is one is ruler, which is this one. So basically when you click on it, it opens up the rulers, and if you drag a guideline from the ruler, you can use it for aligning your objects, or for any kind of purpose that you are seeking. This will create a guideline. You can also create a horizontal guideline by dragging the one from the one at the top, and if you are done, you can move it and leave it back to the ruler and they will disappear. You can also close it if you are not using. Another option for alignment is the grid, which is the background grid. If you click here, you will see it. It's basically like endless. It's in the all areas of your artboard. By the way, let's say you got lost in your artboard. Well, from here, you can click on view all. It will bring back all of your pieces in one screen again. This looks too crowded and too complicated for my taste, so I never leave the background grid open, but if you find it useful, you can always use it, but I usually disable it. And also here we have little zoom in and zoom out. These are pretty basic and self-explanatory. We also have some on the 3D view. We also have 2 for rotation and 2 for going up and down, and also the one I have at the bottom is reset view, which basically brings the view back to the original state. If you rotated it too much, if it got messy, you can always click here and reset it. Also, let's say you have a smaller screen and you want to make your 3D screen bigger, or you want to make your 2D screen bigger because you need more space and you have many different pattern pieces, you can always close these side panels. This is one way. Another way to make only one screen bigger is hovering your mouse on that screen, then clicking tab from your keyboard. So this way you will make this screen bigger. Then again, click tab again. Also, if you want to make your 3D screen bigger, hover on it, bring your mouse here, click tab, it will get bigger. If you want to make it smaller, make sure your mouse is somewhere in the limits of the 3D screen. Click on tab again. So now you have brought back the other screen too. And let's open them back up. Also, let's say you want to attach a zipper to the front of this, so we can give trims a try. We need to first slice the front, but in order to slice this needs to be one piece. So I click on this and click on keep both and turn this into one full front. Then there are 2 ways to split something. You can either do it with a guideline. For this, open up your rulers, drag one vertical guideline, and I want to make sure that this is on the center. For this, enable snap to point from here this time instead of edge. So every time you are on a point, it will just snap. You can see the movement, like how it's snapping. And I don't see any slice option. The reason is this guideline goes all the way from top to bottom, and to be able to slice this, you have to talk to your computer again. Remember, you have to say, I want you to use this guideline, select it, with this piece. So for this, hold shift, select the t-shirt. So when both of them are selected, you will see slice. Now I can click this and slice the front. Then get rid of this guideline. Another way would be, if you take the pen tool, make sure your edit points is disabled, and also make sure your snap to edge is enabled. And let's create a point here, then drag it and create a line here. Click on the last point to finish it. So we have an internal line here, and on the right side you can see slice. By clicking this, I can slice my piece like that. But I want to take it back. One slice is enough. I go back to my libraries and find a zipper library. This one, for example. And select something to your liking. add it to your library. Take the assign tool. Remember, everything under materials, we assign it with the assign tool. Take the zipper, assign on the one edge, assign on the second edge. But there is a very important thing, like this doesn't look right. This looks too long. The reason why it doesn't look correct is every time you dress something and you stitch it, even when you slice it, VStitcher will stitch it back up. Meaning, when I click on my stitches, you see this front section is stitched back. So assigning a zipper on a stitch is not gonna work properly. So for this, I need to remove my zipper, show my stitches, delete the stitches, and take my assign tool. Now assign the zipper. Prepare. Also make sure that these two pieces are not sitting on top of each other. For this, click on them. Find these separate pieces on clusters. With gizmo tools, separate them like this. Now dress. And as you can see, my zipper is assigned perfectly. Also, my material is applied too. The last thing that I want to show before I finish the video is render sections. We have two rendering options. One is this render over here, and in here we have different views: front, left, back, depending on from which perspectives you want to take a render. You can select all of these poses, and also from the 3D preview you can zoom in, zoom out, rotate as if you are just moving around in your 3D screen. Like select all of these, and from here it needs to be set to normal render, Unreal, and you can show environment or make it transparent or solid color. We usually go with show environment. You can also change the image size from here, and we have some advanced settings. You can include or exclude the avatar, so you can take a render of only the clothing as well. And when I click on render, you need to select a place. It is rendering right now with the different looks, like the front, left, back, and now it's finished. Let's search for it. I am honestly not sure where it is, so go back. Let's try the V-Ray Trace. This is a bit more advanced rendering. The material you will see in the V-Ray Trace is so much more realistic. The colors are so different. This is more like RGB colors, but this is more like realistic CMYK colors, you can think it like. And whatever you see on 3D screen is gonna be rendered in here. So if I make any changes, it will change real time. If I rotate it, it will change real time. If I zoom in, zoom out, it will change real time. And I wait until this is fully rendered. When it's done, in here the save image button will be activated. Until then, I need to just patiently wait for it to stop and finish simulating. When it's done, I will be able to click on save image. Then I will select a place on my computer and save it. So this is basically how you can create a pattern from scratch, how you can place it and arrange it on 3D screen on the avatar, and how you can stitch it. I hope everything was clear. If you have any questions, don't forget to ask it in the comments. And since this was a like introduction um, video, if you want to learn about a specific part of it, you can also mention it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like it if you liked it, and subscribe for more videos like this.